Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be tackling something
Yeah,
that I think every dungeon master is going to face at some point.
absolutely.
And that's the challenge of bringing in new mechanics to your game without completely
Throwing everything off.
throwing everything off, throwing off the balance.
Yeah.
So big thanks to LitRPG Reads and Paul Bello.
Fine fellow.
Fine fellow, that one, for giving us some inspiration on this one.
Absolutely.
I'm reminded of a time that I tried to introduce a crafting system
Okay.
to my group.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it'd be really cool if they could forge their own magic items.
Right.
A little more player agency,
Of course.
less reliance on those loot drops.
Yeah.
But I kind of went a little bit overboard.
Okay.
And suddenly they were just churning out legendary level gear.
Oh, wow.
Like it was nothing.
Yeah.
So let's just say the campaign's power curve took a nosedive after that.
Uh-oh.
And the BBG ended up more like a mini boss of mild inconvenience.
That's a good illustration of why understanding a mechanic before you unleash it is so crucial.
Right.
It's not just about the individual rule.
Yeah.
It's about how that rule interacts with your world, with the existing systems, the narrative you're building. You're really, it's like you're adjusting an ecosystem. Even a small change can create a ripple effect.
Okay. So we've established I need to think things through a little more carefully.
Maybe just a little.
So let's say we've got this mechanic.
Okay.
That I'm really excited about, and it seems to fit thematically.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm ready to share it with my players.
Okay.
What's the best approach?
Oh.
Luckily, LitRPG Reads has this article called Best Ways to Introduce New Mechanics to Your D&D Players.
I like it.
And it's got some really interesting ideas.
Cool.
So what do you think?
Well, one tactic they highlight is using session 0 to your advantage.
Oh, okay.
It's the perfect opportunity to introduce a mechanic in a low-stakes environment.
Yeah.
Instead of just explaining the rules, let players experiment with pre-generated characters.
Okay.
Specifically designed to showcase the new mechanic.
Oh, I like that, like a test drive.
Exactly.
Before you commit to full purchase.
Exactly.
So if I was introducing, like, say, an intricate trade network system, I could create characters that are already established merchants.
Exactly.
Different resources and connections.
That way players can get a feel for the mechanics without the pressure of their main characters' lives hanging in the balance.
Yeah.
And it gives you, the DM, valuable feedback on what's working, what's confusing, what needs tweaking before it becomes a core part of the campaign.
So we've got our low-stakes testing ground.
Yes.
But then how do you actually make the mechanics stick?
Right.
How do you move beyond just explaining the rules and actually get players excited about using it?
Right. Well, the article emphasizes the importance of making the mechanic memorable.
Okay.
Instead of just explaining a rule, bring it to life within your world.
Okay.
Think about how you can use in-game examples, NPCs, even the environment itself, to teach the mechanic organically.
So less lecture, more immersive experience.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
For instance, let's say you're introducing a crafting system.
Okay.
Instead of just handing your players a rule book, what if they stumble upon a hidden workshop belonging to a legendary blacksmith?
Ooh, now we're talking.
Maybe.
So instead of just learning the rules, they're discovering them through exploration.
Exactly. Maybe the workshop is filled with half-finished projects, strange tools, cryptic notes that hint at the blacksmith's unique techniques. Suddenly learning to craft becomes an adventure in itself, filled with puzzles, challenges, maybe even a few hidden dangers.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It turns what could be a really dry rule explanation into a memorable story beat.
Exactly.
What about those players that are a little resistant to change?
Sure.
Some people just love sticking to what they know.
Yeah.
How do you get everybody on board with a new mechanic?
Well, the key is to emphasize player buy-in. Make it clear that this new mechanic isn't something I, the DM, am imposing on them. It's something we're exploring together.
I like that.
Encourage them to experiment, to ask questions, to even offer suggestions for how the mechanic could evolve.
So it's less about here are the rules and more about let's play with these ideas together.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Frame mistakes as learning opportunities.
Okay.
Create low-stakes scenarios where players can safely experiment with the mechanic without fear of major consequences.
Makes sense.
And be open to feedback.
Speaking of feedback, how do you go about actually gathering that effectively?
Yeah.
Is it like a post-session survey?
Not necessarily. It can be more organic than that.
Right.
Create a culture of open communication throughout the campaign.
Okay.
Encourage players to voice their concerns, questions,
Right.
and share their ideas.
So keep those lines of communication open during the game.
Yes.
And even between sessions.
Exactly. You might even dedicate some time during session 0
Okay.
to specifically discuss expectations and concerns surrounding the new mechanic.
Right.
That way everyone feels heard and involved from the get-go.
Okay, so we've got buy-in.
Yes.
We've got open communication. And we're weaving the mechanic into the story itself.
Right.
But sometimes players need a little extra incentive to really embrace something new.
Of course.
What are your thoughts on rewards?
Well, rewards can definitely be effective.
Okay.
But they need to be meaningful and tied to the mechanic itself.
Right.
Don't just hand out generic bonuses. Instead, think about what would truly incentivize players to engage with this specific element.
Give me an example.
Sure.
Let's go back to that trade network system.
Okay.
What kind of rewards would make sense in that context?
Well, maybe successfully navigating the trade network allows players to access rare and valuable goods that aren't available anywhere else.
All right.
Or perhaps it unlocks special contacts or favors they can call upon later in the campaign.
So the rewards are woven into the fabric of the world itself.
Exactly.
They're not just these arbitrary bonuses.
Right.
They're valuable resources that enhance the player's overall experience.
Exactly. The key is to make those rewards feel earned.
Right.
Not just they should reflect a genuine understanding and mastery of the new mechanic.
But I like that.
Yeah.
This is all fantastic stuff.
Good.
We've covered so much already.
I know, right?
Understanding the mechanic, introducing it gradually, weaving it into the story, encouraging experimentation, and using meaningful rewards.
I'm feeling inspired to revamp my own campaigns.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
It's all about finding that sweet spot where a new mechanic enhances the game without overwhelming it.
Exactly.
And that balance is going to be different for every group and every campaign.
Absolutely.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
No.
It's about finding what works best for your unique group dynamic and storytelling style.
I think that's a good place to stop for now.
Okay.
We'll pick this back up next time.
Sounds good.
All right, then.
See ya. So before the break, we were talking about how to make rewards feel truly integrated with a new mechanic.
Right.
But I think there's another layer to this that we should explore.
Okay.
Which is that a well-crafted mechanic can actually elevate the storytelling itself.
Oh, now that's something I can definitely get behind.
Right. I love epic narratives and unforgettable character moments.
Absolutely.
You know, those, wait, did that just happen?
Of course.
Twists and turns.
Yeah.
But how exactly does a new mechanic actually facilitate that kind of storytelling magic?
Well, think of it this way.
Okay.
Every mechanic, at its core, is a tool for creating interesting situations, dilemmas, opportunities for your players to interact with the world in meaningful ways.
I'm intrigued. Give me a concrete example.
Sure. Let's revisit that social fabric mechanic that we talked about earlier. Imagine your players are trying to infiltrate a high society ball to gather information on this shadowy organization. Instead of just relying on a simple persuasion check, they now have to navigate this complex web of social connections, political alliances, hidden agendas.
So it becomes more than just rolling dice and hoping for a good number.
Exactly. They might need to earn favors, exploit rivalries, or even expose a scandalous secret to gain access to the information they need. The social fabric mechanic provides the framework for those interactions, giving players a set of tools to weave their own intricate social tapestries.
So the mechanic itself becomes a catalyst for more dynamic and engaging role-playing.
Precisely.
I like it.
And the outcomes of those social interactions can have ripple effects throughout the rest of the campaign. Maybe they make a powerful enemy who seeks revenge later on.
Okay.
Or they forge a lasting alliance
Right.
that grants them access to valuable resources or information.
Yeah.
Down the line, the social fabric of your world becomes this living, breathing entity shaped by the player's choices and actions.
I'm already picturing all the intrigue, the backstabbing, the unexpected alliances.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really brings that sense of a dynamic, ever-changing world to life.
And that's what we're aiming for.
Exactly. A well-integrated mechanic doesn't just add complexity.
Yeah.
It adds depth and meaning.
Right.
It gives players more agency in shaping the narrative, creates opportunities for more nuanced, emotionally resonant storytelling.
Okay. I'm totally sold.
Good.
On this idea of using mechanics to elevate storytelling.
Yeah.
But I'm also realizing, as a DM, I might need to kind of shift my thinking a little bit.
Sure.
To really embrace this approach.
Yeah.
It's about seeing beyond the rules.
Right.
And thinking like a storyteller.
Absolutely. It's about asking yourself, how can this mechanic create interesting dilemmas for my players?
Right.
How can it drive conflict? How can it reveal hidden aspects of the world or the characters within it?
Those are great questions. It's like shifting from a rule book mentality to a screenwriter's mentality.
Exactly. Think about plot twists.
Okay.
Character arcs. Emotional payoffs.
Right.
How can the new mechanic contribute to those elements?
It's about weaving the mechanic into the fabric of the story.
Yes.
Not just tacking it on as an afterthought.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see how powerful this approach can be.
And once you start thinking in those terms, you'll find that mechanics become so much more than just a way to adjudicate actions.
Right.
They become the building blocks of truly unforgettable stories.
This is giving me so many ideas. I'm feeling that creative spark.
Great.
But let's get back to the practical side of things.
Okay.
We've talked about all these different aspects of introducing new mechanics, understanding, introducing, supporting, celebrating.
Right.
Is there a particular order or structure that we should be following here?
Well,
is there like a magic formula?
Not exactly a magic formula, but the article does offer a helpful framework. Start by truly understanding the mechanic. Not just how it works on paper, but how it aligns with your campaign's themes and tone.
Okay.
Existing rules.
Right. We talked about that earlier. It's got to feel like an organic part of the world.
Precisely. Yeah. Once you have that solid grasp of the mechanic and its place in your world, the next step is to consider how you'll introduce it to your players. Session 0, an existing storyline, a dramatic event.
Right.
The options are endless.
It's all about tailoring the approach
to
your specific campaign and playstyle.
Exactly. And once you've introduced it, remember the importance of providing ongoing support and encouragement.
Right.
Those cheat sheets, in-game tutorials, celebratory moments.
Yeah.
Those are crucial for fostering player confidence and buy-in.
Absolutely. It's about creating a collaborative environment where everyone feels comfortable experimenting. Exploring the possibility.
And that feedback loop is essential.
Right.
Check in with your players regularly. Ask for their input.
Yeah.
Be willing to adapt and adjust based on their experiences and suggestions.
Right.
Remember, it's a collaborative process.
Collaboration is key.
Yeah.
What about those aha moments?
Yeah.
Those times when a player uses a new mechanic in a way you never anticipated.
Yeah.
And it just completely blows your mind.
Those are the moments that make it all worthwhile.
Yeah.
It goes back to empowering players to tell better stories.
Right.
When you give them the tools to be creative, to think outside the box.
Yeah.
They'll inevitably surprise you with their ingenuity and resourcefulness.
And those are the moments that make being a DM truly rewarding.
It is.
Seeing your players engage with the world you've created.
Yeah.
Use their imaginations to craft those unexpected, unforgettable moments.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful synergy that can lead to truly magical experiences at the gaming table.
I love it. We're not just playing a game.
Right.
We're co-creating an ever-evolving story.
Yeah.
With each new mechanic, adding another layer of depth and complexity.
That's right.
But I think it's important to acknowledge that introducing a new mechanic can be a little daunting for some DMs, especially those who are newer to the game, haven't experimented much with homebrewing.
You're right. It can feel overwhelming at first.
Yeah.
My advice would be to start small.
Okay.
You don't need to create a completely new system overnight.
Right.
Just tweak an existing rule.
Uh-huh.
Add a simple new element to an encounter.
Yeah.
See how your players respond.
No,
gather feedback, and gradually build your confidence from there.
That's great advice. Start small. Experiment.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes along the way.
And remember, the most important thing is that everyone at the table is having fun.
Right.
If a new mechanic is causing more stress than enjoyment, don't be afraid to step back, reassess, maybe even scrap it all together. It's your game, your world. Right. You have the power to shape it in a way that works best for you and your players.
That's such an empowering message.
It is.
It's about finding what works, what sparks joy.
Yes.
And what helps us tell the most incredible stories together.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've been talking about all these great ways to bring in new mechanics.
Yeah.
And it's really got me thinking about all the ways I can shake things up.
It's been a great conversation.
And my own campaigns.
Absolutely.
But I think one of the biggest takeaways for me has been that shift in perspective. Viewing mechanics, not just as rules, but as tools for storytelling.
Yes.
Empowering players to create those, wait, did that just happen? Moments.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond the dice rolls and embracing that collaborative storytelling potential that makes tabletop RPGs so unique and engaging.
Absolutely. But let's be real.
Sure.
Sometimes a mechanic just doesn't work.
Right.
You've tried all the tricks, the gradual introduction, the player feedback, the creative integration.
Right.
And it's still causing more headaches than hero moments.
It happens.
What happens then?
Well, the article we've been discussing actually touches on this in the Monitor and Adjust section, reminding us that no mechanic is perfect right out of the gate sometimes, despite your best efforts.
Right.
It just doesn't click with your campaign or your player's style.
So what do? Do you just like power through it and hope for the best?
The key is adaptability.
Okay.
And prioritizing the enjoyment of everyone at the table.
Right.
If a mechanic is causing more harm than good, don't be afraid to step back, reassess, and maybe even scrap it entirely.
That's a relief to hear.
It's okay to let go.
As DMs, I think sometimes we get so attached to our ideas that we forget that it's okay to let go.
Absolutely.
If something isn't working.
It's your game, your world.
Right.
You have the power to shape it in a way that brings the most joy and excitement to your players.
It's not about being right or wrong.
Right.
It's about creating a fun and engaging experience for everyone.
Exactly. And sometimes that means admitting that a particular mechanic just isn't the right fit.
And who knows?
Right.
Maybe that so-called failed mechanic will spark an even better idea down the road.
Exactly. It's all part of the creative process.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive into introducing new mechanics to your D&D games.
It has been fun.
And I'm feeling really energized and ready to shake things up at my next gaming session.
It's been a blast exploring this topic with you.
Me too.
Remember, as you embark on your own mechanic, introducing adventures. Keep experimenting, keep collaborating.
Right.
And most importantly, keep having fun.
Perfect advice. A huge thank you to Paul Bello.
Absolutely.
Fine fellow you continue to inspire. And to LitRPG Reads for providing the insightful article that fueled this conversation.
And a big thank you to all of you for joining us on this deep dive.
Now, before we sign off, we want to hear from you.
Of course.
That's the most creative way you've introduced a new mechanic.
Right.
In your own RPG sessions.
Yeah.
Head over to our website or social media and
let us know.
Share your stories, pips, and triumphs.
Yes.
Until next time, happy gaming.
Happy gaming.